official misconduct, which is a third-degree felony, conspiracy to commit false insurance claim, which is a third-degree felony, and leaving the scene of an accident with attended property, which is a second-degree misdemeanor. The charges stem from an investigation in which our Integrity Special Investigations Unit conducted starting in about middle of August, where Officer Howard was involved in a traffic crash. She left the scene and then conspired with a family member, essentially, and made false statements about who was driving the vehicle. We discussed the case with the state attorney's office, and a warrant was issued yesterday afternoon. She was arrested, and she has resigned her position with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. This marks the 8th arrest of a JSO employee this year in 2020. She is the 3rd corrections officer. We've had 3 police officers and 2 civilians. She's resigned from the agency, so she is no longer employed. A lot of times we get a lot of questions about, since the arrest the other day, comments and questions in reference to this officer's concise history, which I believe all the media will get a copy of today. They talk about, hey, this guy was investigated 6 times before. How was he still employed for the agency? The reality is, if you complain on an employee of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, every complaint is investigated. Whether it be as minor as you saw the officer speeding, it gets investigated. It can be either sustained, which means the charges are upheld, and we usually implement discipline up to including termination, or it's unfounded or not sustained, where there's not enough evidence to prove that it occurred. But every one of those, usually if they're of a minor nature, we take corrective action with counseling and discipline, with reprimands and suspensions and things of that nature. But in cases like this, obviously with felony charges, criminal charges involved, we would move to terminate this person no matter what. But again, I've told the media before, and I think it's to take the time to educate the public. The employee, if she had not resigned, would still have the ability of civil service protections. That means she has protections that say she has a process that she can go through, that she can attempt to keep her job. We would make no bones about it. We would move to fire this person had they not resigned. And I think it's important to let the community know that, that we do our best in trying to keep the members of the agency accountable. And I think this week, just happened to be 3 in a week, is evidence of such. So with that, I will take some questions.
So that being said, the 3rd, obviously, and then the 8th this year, 3rd in the past week, what do you think that says about the department? Is it more transparency, or is it something else?
It's transparency. That's why we do news conferences. We always have under Sheriff Mike Williams. This is number 8. So we had 3 in 19, but if you go back before that, we were averaging, I want to say, between 9 and 11 for the 2 previous years before that. So not proud of it. I'll just say it plain and simple. We're taking care of business. We will do this each and every time. If you've got employees that are going to commit crimes, the fact that they're police officers or corrections officers does not give them any enhanced privileges to do that, and we hold them accountable. I wish the number was 0, but it's not. And here we are, just making sure that we address it.
Can you clarify when the crash happened? Was she off duty at the time, and the severity of the crash? Was anyone injured in it?
I don't have the information on whether anybody was injured, but when it says property damage, usually if there was injury involved, it would be hit and run with injury, where this is hit and run attended property. That means somebody else was with the other vehicle. So by statutory definition there, it leads me to believe there was no injury. This happened sometime in the beginning of August, and we were notified shortly thereafter, and hence they started their investigation in the middle of August. And you took some time to get with the insurance company and do all of those kind of things and get with the state attorney's office, and that's why here we are at this date.
And off duty?
Off duty, yes. Anybody else?
Do you mind spelling her name?
Oh, Jatoia. Common spelling, Howard. Thank you very much.
Unrelated question about the escapee from over the weekend. Can you talk about how this was able to happen, and is JSO conducting an investigation to make sure it doesn't happen again?
So I'll say this. anytime we have an escapee, it is looked at in reference to, if you want to call it an escapee, somebody released, maybe that shouldn't have been released, or something of that nature. Every time it's looked into to make sure that our process is solid and that the employees are doing what the process says. So I won't comment on it any further than that. Thank you very much.